Pete Rose, Hall of Fame. Pete Rose, ineligible list. Pete Rose, RIP, wherever the hell you are this morning. Pete Rose's family wrote a letter to Rob Manfred, the commissioner, said now that he is deceased, he should no longer be on baseball's ineligible list. You have his memorabilia. We think he should be allowed to be placed back on the Hall of Fame ballot. That letter from the estate of Pete Rose was then followed last week by a meeting between Rob Manfred and two members of the Rose family. He's, quote, taken it under advisement, has not issued a decision yet. Now, that's one angle to the Pete Rose story. The other angle is your president, Trump, goes public when he's not berating Zelensky, when he's not mandating Canada is going to be the 51st state, or not mandating sail your boats in the Gulf of America. He announced he's going to pardon Pete Rose. Okay, the question I pose is, what the hell are you pardoning him for? I mean, Pete Rose did serve prison time. A lot of people have forgotten this for income tax evasion.
Yeah.
All the income tax money he got on gambling, never filed for. So he went to the hole for about 5 months. So Trump has the ability to pardon him, I guess, posthumously for the IRS issue. Last I checked, unless Trump shows up at Cooperstown at the front door, he has no control over the Baseball Hall of Fame. Manfred, I'm not even paying any attention to that. So what the big issue is, you got all his memorabilia. We all know his statistics. We understand the greatness of the person and the failure of the person too. If he opens the door for Pete Rose, does that not open the next door for, well, if him, why not shoeless Joe Jackson back in 1919 in the Black Sox scandal? He hit .356 in the World Series. Yeah, he was approached about taking money. He didn't throw any games, but he's suspended for life and died in poverty in South Carolina. And if it's Rose and now, open door for Joe Jackson, now what are we doing with your guy, the cheat in San Francisco, Barry Bonds? What do they do with Roger Clemens, a.k.a. steroids and all that, Balco, etc.? John, the floor is yours. Go ahead. You want to walk around, throw some gasoline on this topic, set a fire?
Well, here's one angle that bugs me is, why would you be so hardcore about preventing Pete Rose to be in the Hall of Fame, but now that he's dead, you're now willing to consider it? I mean, either he violated a rule that's an unbreakable rule and you don't ever let him in ever, or let the darn guy enjoy the moment while he's still alive if you're going to induct him. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me.
Ineligible because he bet on baseball. And there is evidence that he also bet on baseball as a player, but we never got beyond the Dowd report, which was just the damning evidence about what he did, and he admitted he did, and he signed the document for what he did as a manager. So he's ineligible as a person. Now that he's died, do you reconsider and allow his name to go on the ballot so he can go into the Hall of Fame, even if you want to put an asterisk on the plaque? Because everybody knows why Pete Rose was banned for decades upon decades since 1989. I think that's the only simple explanation. He was barred from baseball, just like shoeless Joe Jackson and the other guys of the White Sox in 1919, barred forever from baseball while they were alive. But if you let Pete Rose in, do you have to let shoeless Joe in?
Well, you should let them all in. And we keep having this argument all the time. And as much as I love Cooperstown and the Hall of Fame, I mean, that's like walking into a church. Yeah. But do we make too big of a deal out of this if Pete Rose is in the Hall of Fame or not in the Hall of Fame when his memorabilia and his image is already in the Hall of Fame? The only thing he's not having is just what do they call that? A bust or a plaque. That's all we're talking about. It's a plaque when he's really already in there.
But he broke baseball's bylaws as it relates to gambling.
Yeah. And he broke Ty Cobb's all-time hits record. So you put him in, you put the asterisk, you tell the whole story of baseball, you condemn him for his sins, but you acknowledge the reality of what he did on the field.
And you and I have argued about this before. I don't think you can write the history of baseball without Pete Rose being part of the history of baseball.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Fans Forum chat box is open. You know, if you got any asbestos shoes when you stand around the fire that John just lit, feel free to join us and comment on the decision that Rob Manfred has to make.